part of you already knows something isn't right because you're exhausted and you're trying harder than the other person. You're starting to wonder, am I forcing something that isn't meant to work? Let me show you the signs you've got to look at now to see if you're with the wrong person, so you can stop wasting your time and energy on someone who'll never meet your needs. When we're talking about being with the wrong person, a lot of times people look at that other person's characteristics and try to analyze the person. But the best way to know if you're with the wrong person is actually to check in with yourself and to see how you feel inside. What are some of the feelings you're experiencing in this relationship? Getting in touch with your feelings is key here. The number one sign that tells you you're in a relationship with the wrong person is that you feel anxious and uncertain. Let's be honest, relationships are supposed to give you a sense of stability. If you're constantly on edge, wondering, why haven't they texted me back? Or am I the only one trying? That's a sign. Ask yourself, do I feel calm and at peace with this person? Or do I feel tense and on edge? Maybe they don't call as much as you would like. Maybe they disappear after a great weekend together. Or one day they're super affectionate and the next day they ghost you. If it's been 3 months and you're still on high alert, that's not butterflies, that's anxiety. And your body is trying to tell you something. The truth is, we need a level of security even when we're starting a relationship with someone. So if that person's behavior is constantly putting us on edge, or if their behavior is kind of unpredictable, that can create anxiety for us. So if we meet with the person and it feels great and we don't know when the next time is that we'll see them because they don't plan things with us, that can understandably make us feel anxious. Your anxiety means you need more safety and security in this relationship to thrive. So you're not getting your need for security met. Especially if you've told them how this makes you feel, how you've been feeling anxious, on edge, and uncertain about where this relationship is going, and they're still giving you vague answers about where they stand. They're not being open with you and transparent with you, because if they were honest, transparent, and clear, you would have been reassured. If they're not meeting your needs even after you telling them how you feel, this is most probably not the right person for you. Other things that can make you feel insecure is if they casually mention that maybe they have other connections, or that they travel a lot and they aren't able to invest as much in the relationship, or maybe they say their work is a priority right now and having a relationship comes second. All of these things can put anyone on edge and make us feel unsure in terms of where we stand with this person. Now, if you're the one carrying the whole relationship and you know it, hit the like button now. I see you. The second sign you're with the wrong partner is you consistently feel unimportant or feel like just an afterthought. You know that feeling when you just ask someone to pick something up for you and they just forget? Or when you're sick and they don't check in because work was just busy? That stuff really adds up over time. It's not about grabbing something you like. It's not about getting you something when you're sick and checking in with you. It's not about celebrating special moments with you, like your birthday or anniversary. This is about you not being a priority in this relationship. And again, you've told them how you feel and they promised to fix it. Or maybe they've gotten defensive and said you're too needy or you're needing too much. But you've done your part. You've really opened up to them and still nothing changes. That's not love. That's actually neglect dressed in a relationship. Think about it. If someone says you matter but shows you otherwise through their actions, what do you believe? I can tell you a lot of partners who are workaholics, who tend to prioritize their family, their friendships, their work over you, maybe partners who are emotionally unavailable. And it's not going to serve you to keep trying and trying to change them. And your relationship is a proof of that, because you've tried communicating your needs and still nothing's changed. So the more you stay in this relationship, the more you're wasting your time and the more hurt you'll get at the end, because it's very unlikely that this person is going to change. If you want to stay in a relationship like that, you have to be okay with feeling small, devalued, and unimportant. And is that really what you deserve? Is that really what you want? If you've ever felt like you don't matter to the person you're with, like you're always an afterthought, tap the like button. That should never be okay. The third sign you're with the wrong partner is that your mood is all over the place. Your mood is unstable. You have days that you're really happy and upbeat, but you also have days that you really crash and are down. There is no mood stability here because of the roller coaster of the relationship you're in. Your mood is also going through a roller coaster. If they're closer, you feel good. If they're distant or neglectful, you feel depressed and sad. If your entire mood is entirely dependent on how your relationship is doing that day, that's a red flag. One day you're just floating because they gave you attention. Next day you're just smiling because they're either distant or off. That's not passion. That's emotional whiplash. There's actually this thing called intermittent reinforcement. It's basically when someone just gives you enough attention attention and care to keep you hooked, but not enough to make you feel secure. And this is very addictive, but it's not healthy love. It just creates this obsession for you that you're overthinking and obsessing about this person without having any stability and security. If peace only comes when they're in a good mood, that's not peace. You're basically in survival mode. If you've noticed in your current relationship or your past relationship, your whole mood changes based on whether they're nice to you or distant, hit like. By hitting like, you acknowledge that this emotional roller coaster is not love. The fourth sign is when you're in a relationship with the wrong person, you feel confused and doubtful. Now, if I ask you how you're feeling right now in your relationship and you tell me you've been feeling confused, this is a huge red flag. And I don't mean just a moment of confusion. Of course, we all experience that from time to time. But if this is a person who's been a constant in your life, but you're always confused about why they behave the way they do towards you, I will tell you for sure this is the wrong relationship. And you're not going to get anything out of it other than just getting hurt in the end. Healthy relationships don't leave you feeling confused all the time. Yes, doubt is normal sometimes. But if confusion is your default state, that's your clarity right there. Maybe this person acts like they're all in with you one day and the next day they pulled away. They show up unexpectedly for your birthday, make these grand gestures for you, buy you this huge expensive gift, connect with your family, and in a few days, they disappear and you don't hear from them. Or if you text them, they don't respond back. Or you get mixed signals from them. So you're feeling very conflicted. Maybe you feel like you're the only one asking, what are we doing here? When are we going to see each other again? Confusion is often a sign of inconsistency of the other person. And of course, inconsistency is a symptom of emotional unavailability. You will not see any person who's emotionally available who's inconsistent. Can you ask yourself what exactly is making you feel confused right now in your relationship? And has this happened to you more than once? If this is a pattern, pay attention to it. Don't ignore it. The fifth sign that you're with the wrong partner is that you don't feel emotionally safe with them. This is huge. Emotional safety is the foundation of every relationship. If you can't talk about your feelings, your need, and your hurts without having it turn into an argument or worse, being ignored, you're not safe. You're basically walking on eggshells because there's someone who's not receptive to your emotions, to your needs. Maybe you filter what you want to say out of fear of conflict. Maybe you've stopped asking for what you need because you've learned they won't deliver and you don't want to feel hurt and let down. But let's be real. If you can't be yourself with them, if you have to shrink to keep the peace, what's the cost? That's not love. That's you abandoning yourself just to stay in something that's not working. Maybe out of fear of being lonely or other fears you may have about ending the relationship. The worst kind of loneliness I see in people in my practice is the type of loneliness when two people are sharing the same house, sleep in the same bed, but are feeling disconnected and alone because the other person has no idea what's going on in their inner world. I mean, that's utterly shaming and hurtful because here's a person who's physically present, but you have no access to them emotionally and they have no access to you and they don't care. I'd rather be alone than in a relationship like that. But I also understand if you have issues with abandonment and fear of loneliness, it can be very hard to end relationships like that. If you're watching this and you're realizing you're doing all of this, don't panic. It doesn't always mean your relationship has to end, but it does mean something has to change. If you want to figure out as a couple where really the breakdown is in your relationship and if it's worth rebuilding, you can join my coaching program now. In the program, you'll learn how to communicate better, understand what's actually going wrong, either from your partner's perspective and your side, and get clear on whether this is the right relationship for you. So if you're tired of guessing and ready to know for real, check out the link in the description below. Once you apply to the program, you'll hear from me within 24 hours to let you know if you're the right fit for this program. If you're recognizing these signs, the next best thing you can do is to see a couples therapist. If you're feeling tension with your partner, disconnected, and like you're carrying most of the weight, I made an entire series of videos on how therapy can turn your relationship around and how you can get started with it the right way. Watch this on your screen now.